high slot, handed off to Russell, poked away from him. Isaac Howard batting at it, and he scores!
Tanner Kelly brings it across, fires a shot at an early goal! Going top shelf to beat Soulier, leaves it for Mueller. Sent right back in front, Davidson! Puts Michigan State on the board.
3-2, the final score here tonight. The Spartans sweep the Badgers at home.
They sure did. I was there for the front end of that sweep. What a glorious night that was, taking my son to a hockey game for the first time. Michigan State hockey is really hot right now. We got one of their big pieces here. Isaac Howard, welcome to the Spiro Avenue Show. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you guys you're sort of the Hansel and Zoolander. You guys are the hot item on campus right now. Basketball team got off to a little bit of a slow start, has rebounded since. Football, we won't talk about it. You guys are sort of the darlings up there. Are you guys feeling that love yet, or what's that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've obviously had a very successful season, so far, and it's definitely, I mean, it's fun to be winning, and the jam around campus is awesome. Munn has been buzzing, so it's been super fun.
So I'm going to get deep into the Michigan State stuff, and that's where my heart lies, and I think that's the most relevant piece. But I had to bring up the NHL draft, which I'm sure you've been asked about a million times.
Yeah.
But it's one of the funniest things. So we got to set it up for the audience. We're going to play the clip of you getting drafted and your outfit that went viral on Twitter, at least. Ben, can you roll that for us to set the stage for the topic here?
With the 31st pick, Tampa Bay Lightning pleased to select Isaac Howard from the U.S. Development Program.
Look at the turtleneck. I love the turtleneck and the chain and the white jacket.
I love that. That's 90s. His nickname's the Iceman, too.
Sure.
And I'm telling you, this guy's skill and his belief in that skill is oozing. Tampa is a nice fit for him. John Cooper, we know, rewards that skill and grit. So I think this is a excellent pick for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Fans are probably watching down at Channel Side.
So you obviously weren't a part of the Spartan family yet, but I remember that immediately following the draft and being a thing. Was that a pre-planned thing? Obviously, I know you put your clothes on that day, but were you trying to make a statement, or what was that about?
Yeah, I was just enjoying it. Like, it was such a fun day, and leading up to that, obviously, like, your kind of draft outfit, you got to plan it, and I remember looking at a white suit in my closet that I kind of never wore, and I was just thinking, if I wore this, it would kind of be unreal, because in hockey especially, it's pretty neutral, and that was out there, so it was pretty fun.
That's why it was memorable, and the other reason it was memorable was not just that exchange, but it was, I would argue, more so the interview you gave right after, and that was the one that I saw that really kind of popped. So Ben, play the Isaac Howard post-draft pick interview. It's hilarious, please.
Isaac, going into tonight, what were you hoping for?
Yeah, obviously I didn't know what was going to happen. I was getting a little nervous up there, but to hear my name called was, really awesome.
You had one of the more unique fits of the night. Can you take us through your fashion choice?
Yeah, I think, I'm the best looking guy here, and I dress the best, just to impress, so.
And you're joining an organization that's now been to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals, winning 2 of them. What do you think makes the Lightning so special?
I mean, again, I think they have the best draft picks. I think that's a steal of the draft right there. And, that's why they're the best organization.
Awesome. Congratulations, Isaac. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I have to think about it, but not just the NHL draft. I can't remember any player going with that line of they're brilliant. It's I'm the best looking guy. Was your phone just blowing up with that? I mean, because you were viral pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, obviously I wasn't on my phone really for a solid hour, I would say, after I got drafted, and then kind of opened it, and it was just insane. I think maybe I didn't even realize how big of an actual moment it was. Just saying that stuff is pretty funny, and then you kind of realize how many people are actually tuning in to the NHL draft, and it was crazy. Yeah.
When you're walking out of the hotel room and you got on what you got on, did you have one of your parents saying, "What the hell are you doing?" or how did that go?
No, I mean, honestly, my parents have always just supported me, and my family has a great sense of humor that they kind of thought it was just hilarious that I was wearing that. So I mean, everyone kind of just was on board with it.
The public loved it. I mean, I'm just picturing my own parents. My mom would think it was great. My dad would be all, he's not a 1950s dad, but you could fool some people with that. So, But the whole draft experience just fascinates me, and I can't imagine like being there in any context, but especially you kind of stole the show in the first round there. It was wild. So, take me through that process. Like, obviously you're pictured there with Gary Bettman. Like, are you nervous during the draft? You said you were a little bit nervous going in about your outfit and stuff, but like, what were the emotions like?
I mean, the draft is, it was a long day. I think, the whole entire day kind of leading up to the draft. And then when you get there, it's like, a solid, I was probably there for 5 hours just waiting in that seat because you get there early, sit next to all the prospects. And then, when the actual draft starts, it's, each team's on the clock, and then there's commercials, and so you're kind of just glued to your seat, and every pick's just exciting because you have no idea what's going to happen.
Did you have communication in advance with Tampa Bay? Like, did they talk to you beforehand?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so throughout the entire year, you're going through countless interviews with pretty much every team, like Zooms, phone calls, in-person interviews, dinners, stuff like that. So I was in talks with Tampa Bay, and then it's not like I knew I was going to get drafted or anything by them, but then when they, announced my name, it was a really cool feeling. When
you were going in, did you have an idea of the general range you were expected to be in? And like, did you end up falling in that range? Because I found some conflicting like mock drafts from there. Like your name was like really high, much higher up. Like, and then like even not much lower, but like, 5 spots lower than you ended up going. Like, what was your expectation going in?
Yeah. I mean, those mock drafts for sure are kind of, pointless. Obviously, it's just a fan kind of making it. So honestly, like going into the draft, I had a good feeling that I would go in the first round, but honestly, I didn't really know, what picks or what range. It was kind of just, could have been, kind of anything. So just went in with that mindset, and then, Tampa Bay drafted me.
No, you stole the show at the end, man, for sure. It was so funny. And I was telling you beforehand, like, I remember that moment so vividly, but you weren't part of the Spartan family yet. And I was researching for the show, and I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't make the connection." So I knew, like, your teammates have said, you're a like funny guy, like a fun guy to have around. So it makes sense that you were the guy that went viral during the draft. But so I want to talk about Michigan State. Obviously, that's the crux why we're here.
Yep.
Your experiences there so far, obviously, relatively new to the campus. You're a transfer from Minnesota Duluth. So take me through a little bit. Your coach, in particular, has been a cult figure in a good way, at least with the fan base. Like, he's a meme factory with the fan base. We actually made one, Ben, if you can throw that up. Are you aware of the Night King nickname? Is that something the players have awareness of?
No, I haven't seen that one, but I just finished Game of Thrones, so I like that.
That's
like
ours.
That.
Yeah, we actually made that one. Yeah, that's our team. But that's so you get the reference. You haven't heard. So the players aren't aware of that nickname, or at least you weren't.
No, I mean, no. That's probably more. I guess it's hard for us to see that stuff sometimes, but that's a cool nickname.
Yeah, well, they love them. Obviously, and you did mention before the show, like, you understand like how popular you guys have become, and you sort of feel the buzz up there. I'm curious about him just as a guy, as a coach. I had a guy who was not your teammate, but a great Spartan hockey player and a member of the program, Jagger Joshua, who you guys just missed each other by a year, graduated. But he talked about this culture of accountability, and it's not like strict, like he's an asshole, but he's like, he's got expectations, and it's a player-led thing too, where the players hold each other accountable. Tough, but like good tough was his read on it. Yeah. What would you make of that? Is he accurate there?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Like, he's gonna hold you accountable, and he's not gonna necessarily scream in your face and be that type of coach, but it doesn't mean he doesn't expect greatness. So every weekend, like, he expects us to go out there and perform, and we kind of work our tail off. I think that's a big thing from him too, is just, early in the week, basically the entire week, like, we're just working towards that goal and working really hard. And, he's not going to scream in your face, but he definitely demands, for you to be given your all.
Yeah, I know, like, my friend Jeremy's the biggest diehard Michigan State hockey guy you can possibly find. And I used to fancy myself up there, but he puts me to shame. I remember him doing cartwheels when you announced you were coming, because you were considered, by any list, top 3, top 4 transfer portal guy coming from Minnesota Duluth. You could have gone anywhere. You may be humble about it. You could have gone anywhere. I mean, you were a top guy in the portal. What made you come to Michigan State? Was it Nightingale? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I knew Nightingale obviously came here because I played for him for 2 years at the U.S. national program. So I knew exactly what I was getting, from him as a coach. And, kind of right as I was in the transfer portal, I was seeing what they were doing with their weight room, recovery room, kind of just doing this huge renovation that looked, awesome for development reasons. And then, ultimately, I didn't necessarily know exactly what the team was like, what the players were like, but I kind of just had trust in Nightingale's, the way he coaches. And Will Morlax, who's our trainer off the ice, was also my trainer at USA. So I knew exactly what he does. And, he's I would say the best trainer in college hockey. And for development reasons, it was kind of a no-brainer to come here. And then, now that I'm here and, with the team, got to know the players, like we have a hell of a team, which is kind of just even bigger of a plus.
I mean, it's not new to you because it's all you've known, but it's new to a lot of Michigan State fans. And it began last year, to be fair. But we've been down for a while, and we're still the most recent Big Ten team to win a national championship. It's a proud, great program, but it's been a bad, by our standards for sure, almost decade and a half before last year. I don't know if you lack the perspective because you weren't here, obviously.
Yeah.
But, why do you think he's successful, if you had to guess? Why does he work at the level that he does?
I mean, he's extremely dedicated. I think that's a big thing. Always watching film, looking for ways for us to get better. I think it helps when, players want to come play for him. I think that's important. And then, having a team that, wants to play from and believes in his systems, I think that's important. We have a group that believes in what he says and, willing to do, whatever it takes. I think that helps definitely big time.
So backing up for a second, you mentioned something that was interesting to me because it's a point of debate how valuable facilities are. But that was one of the first two things you mentioned was MUN and the renovations and the facilities there. So that was a strong thing for you. You saw what they were doing just from a literal infrastructure standpoint. That meant something to you with your decision, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I saw the facilities that they were going to have for this year, it was kind of mind blowing. And the equipment we have in the gym upstairs is, crazy. We have some things that are like $100,000 and, that can truly help in the gym because there's new technology coming out on how to, increase power, increase speed. And when we're getting those top of the line equipment, it's awesome for everyone.
And you just made such a great point that people should understand that, and for context, and we mentioned it, Isaac's one of the best, or was one of the best guys in the portal. He was a highly coveted guy that could have picked his school, could have gone to Michigan, could have gone anywhere. And I mean, he's telling you the importance of those facilities, and that was a critical, part of your decision along with your coach. So I think people need to understand why people push for this stuff. They care about the athletics. You're here in part because they did that.
Yeah.
And you're the perfect example. Michigan State got a coveted player who leads the team in scoring now for the best season they've had since they won the national championship in 2007. I mean, how old were you in 2007?
3 years old.
3 years. Yeah, the best team since he was 3, and he's leading the team in scoring, and he's here in part because of the facilities. So that's why fans like me that just love this stuff.
Yeah,
we get pumped. We get pumped too when we see that stuff. It's all right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And that's part of why you're here. So it's just a great experience. Tell me about Wisconsin a little bit. I was there for the Friday one. It was awesome. The front end of the sweep. Really good game. You guys kind of took it to them. Yep. They had their push in the third, which you kind of always expect, especially with the 2-goal lead. But what was that like? The environment from the crowd standpoint was awesome. What was it like on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a team this weekend we played, our best full weekend, I would say. I thought we were really consistent throughout the weekend, and, it wasn't like a fluke sweep. I thought we played, our identity and won the game clean, and the arena was buzzing. I've absolutely loved playing at MUN so far. I think our team has just played great in front of the home crowd, which is awesome, and it's good to get those fans engaged because student section is great. All the fans, the building was buzzing, so it's it definitely helps and makes players just like me just more excited for home games.
The announcing team, proud Michigan State students, they were talking about the chippiness at the end of the second game. I perceived the same thing they did. I was watching on TV for that one. Was Wisconsin getting a little agitated with the state of affairs there at the end? It seemed like it was getting a little rough out there, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's common in college when you're playing a series. Like, you get the team 2 nights in a row, so eventually something's gonna happen. And they're on a tear. Like, they just swept Minnesota and just swept Michigan. So obviously then things kind of weren't going their way. So I'm sure, kind of got them a little agitated.
Do you think they're the best team you've seen so far this year?
Yeah, I would say 2 weekends that stick out to me are them in Boston College, who we played earlier. I think we're still coming together as a team more. That was early in the season when we played Boston College. But both those weekends had great teams.
So when you finish the sweep, what's that room like after? Like, I'm always fascinated by the locker room stories. Like, were you guys bouncing off the walls? Was it kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a great culture in the fact that we get in there, everyone's excited for each other, and then we sing our win song, which is always great. Everyone huddles together. And then, yeah, I mean, then we're kind of looking towards the next weekend, and we know that we can't get complacent. It's a long season, so celebrate the win, and then prepare for the next weekend.
For context, and we mentioned it, your production is wild. Ben, if you can throw up our Mr. Isaac Howard card that we made, so we call you high impact. So this is where you're at right now: 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points, leading the team in the latter 2 assists and points. Your impact has been obviously profound, and you've made a big difference with the way things are going here. Do you need to be a leader when you're a player at that level, when you're producing at your level? Do you have an onus to be that, even though you're an underclassman? Are you kind of let go and just do your thing? Like, what do you feel is the expectation of you as a player? Because the production obviously speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to not necessarily just do everything like be your own thing. Like, you want to be a part of the team. I like to lead by example, like just showing up, working hard, setting the tone in drills, stuff like that I think, carries good energy throughout the team. And, that's kind of what I would say I bring as a leader for sure. Do
you have any concept of your timeline for, when you would try to leave school? Is that something you think about?
No, not really. I mean, ever since I got here, like, I've absolutely loved it. So I would say, like, no rush. I would have no issue coming back here for another year or two. Like, it's like I said, ever since I've been here in summer, I've absolutely loved it. So
you're from Wisconsin, I think, originally, right?
Yep.
And went to Duluth for the year. So this is kind of your first. But is it the U.S. Development Program? Is it still in Ann Arbor? Oh, it's in Plymouth. Okay.
So at this point, I feel like Michigan's like a second home almost.
Yeah. So you kind of know the deal. So you were 2 years in Plymouth there.
Yep.
So you're a typical hockey. I mean, your parents moving around like to follow you because you went to Shattuck.
Yep.
Same areas, which is like the Harvard of high school hockey, really.
Yep.
That place they follow you around.
No, they haven't followed me around. They've stayed at the same house. So Shattuck was an hour 15 from my house, which isn't bad at all. So they would buzz up on weekends and whatnot. And then when I was in Michigan, I had an awesome billet family. Jesse, Pete, Ewer, Landon, Sasha. They were my billet family, and they were awesome. So still in great connection with them. They just came to the Wisconsin series actually. So that's who I lived with then for the 2 years, and then now just in an apartment with a teammate.
I'm fascinated by the Shattuck culture, and we talked before. My best friend went there, so I know a fair amount about it, even though I haven't been there. But it's a classic kind of Americana prep school, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, it's kind of a cool piece of our history that seemed to kind of come forward. It is locked in time. Like, can you tell me about your Shattuck experience? I just want to touch on that real quick.
Yeah, so I went to Shattuck 2 years, my freshman, sophomore year of high school, and absolutely loved it. As a young guy, like, that's, especially as a hockey player, I mean, that's just a dream school. Like, they have 3 rinks, 2 full size, 1 3-on-3 rink, and you can kind of just go out with your buddies at like 7 p.m. and be like, let's go hop on the rink quick, and then get some dinner after. So I think that's awesome at around that age, and the culture there is great. Like, I'm still talking to a ton of guys that I play with there. I think once you go to Shattuck and you meet someone at Shattuck, like, you kind of have an instant connection and stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's such a cool place, and they filmed the third Mighty Ducks movie there, and it was Eden Hall in that iteration. But did they talk about Crosby there at all? Is he like on the wall somewhere on a giant mural, or like is he hanging over the program still?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely talk about him a good amount. Obviously, it was cool that he was able to go there his sophomore year and just tear it up. And obviously, he's one of the greatest players of all time. So it's cool to have that connection. But I mean, they have pictures of him around the school, at the rink, stuff like that.
So back to the Michigan State thing. you're going there in part because of Munn, the facilities, the renovations, the coach and stuff. Was there a specific pitch that got you there? Was it something that Nightingale told you in particular, or was it just the sort of inherent prior familiarity and comfort?
Yeah, I mean, actually, like the first phone call he gave me, he kind of said like he's not gonna pitch for me to come here. Like I'm gonna wanna play there. So I think that's kind of awesome because most people are trying to like recruit you, trying to tell you why you should come, but he kind of was just confident in the program and what he offered, and I love that.
So he called you to not pitch you, basically? Is that what that was?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So he's kind of playing like he didn't really need you. That's kind of bold by him. It worked, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fascinating guy. I'm dying to get him in the chair you're in. I think he'd be such a great guy to talk to. And everybody in the athletic department, just generally, like even outside of the hockey program, has the most respect for that guy. And, he's come in and done something that, several of his predecessors weren't able to do. And I think he's been such a game changer. See, my opinion, which is, you're clearly, this is a Michigan State friendly space. I'm biased. I think you guys have a national championship ceiling. I really believe that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think that's our standard too. Every day we show up, we practice like the best team in the country, and come game time, we play like the best team in the country. I think that's important to have that standard, and it all starts in the way we work. Like, I bet you we're the hardest working team, in college, and that kind of just gives us fuel to the fire.
What's the team like? Is it like a kind of chippy? Because Jagger said it was like last year, different team, but he said it was like kind of a chippy, not contentious though, like productively chippy. They kind of harping on each other and making sure they were locked in. Like, is it a looser room? What's it like?
It's like the room itself. Guys are holding each other accountable, like any good locker room, and on the ice, I think we have like good hard skill. We're not just a skilled team. We're not just a grinder team. Like we have a great blend, and practice is where you'll have guys going at each other and stuff, which is healthy and good for the team, and it's extremely competitive too, which is probably the most important factor.
Yeah, the ceiling angle for you guys is fascinating to me because hockey's hard. It's difficult to really predict, and we've seen teams that we didn't really see coming at least advance to the final, if not win the whole thing, and it's tough to predict. But you guys seem to have what you need. Like I like you at all levels. You're good in net. You're one of them. Forwards, like the D is solid. I think you kind of have everything you need. You have the coach you need. So it's tough. It's tough to say about any team because it's such a hard.
Yeah.
Michigan lost as a huge favorite in 2011 or 2012 in the final. It's tough to say with confidence, but if I'm having to pick a team or, pick a couple of teams that can do it, you really seem to check every box despite my bias. Is that something you guys talk about? Do you talk about national championship or, any particular goal, or is it more just internalized?
Yeah, no, I think we definitely talk about it. Like that's our goal, that's our standard, and that's why you play college hockey. And I think we're strong all around. And the unique thing about college is that making the tournament, obviously you need to have a great regular season, or you have to win your conference, and then it's one game elimination. So anything can happen. So you just gotta get prepared for that, and make sure that when the time comes, you're ready to go.
So what does it need to look like for you guys? Because I think if you play your game, you can do it. What does a national championship for Michigan State look like? What do you have to do to get there?
I think just sticking with the process we've started. It's a long season, and it's actually kind of a short season, but play 2 games a weekend. Just sticking with the process, believing in ourselves. Every weekend showing up, because every game's important for standings and getting into the tournament and whatnot, and basically playing every game like it's a national championship, and as long as we can show up with that effort and that mindset, I think we'll be really successful.
Is there any element of you guys are hot already, and then you end up taking down Wisconsin in a sweep back-to-back as the number 1 team that was just steamrolling everybody? Is there an element of we got to avoid the come down like in our next couple of games? Like, is that something you guys are aware of or talk about?
I think that's obviously part of it is you don't want to necessarily have a come down. You want to just keep steamrolling ahead, and I'm fired up for this weekend against Minnesota. It's another great test, another great weekend in the Big Ten. It'd be two huge wins again. So I think just keeping that confidence we have in ourselves and, just playing hard, and I think we'll be good.
What do you like best about Munn so far playing there?
I mean, I would say the crowd. I think we've had a good crowd every game, which is fun. Sometimes maybe if you're on a random game, you'll have a little bit lesser of a crowd, but we haven't had that yet. So I think that's exciting, and it just makes me excited to play at home. I think we're like 5-0-1 right now at home, which is good. And we got to keep that going.
Your goaltending situation has a Detroit Red Wings tie-in. Your one of your two is Trey Augustine.
Yep.
He's a Detroit Red Wings draft pick, early second-round pick. I had a couple of discussions on the show about him and with Max Boltman from The Athletic as a Red Wings beat writer. And he's high on Augustine. He likes him a lot. He said he's not a freak of nature, in terms of reflex. He's not like a guy that would have gone top 10, which is weird for goalies anyway. But he's just steady and sound and so sharp and plays the position like to a T how you're supposed to play. What's your read on him? I mean, he could be the Red Wings goalie number one at some point. What do you think of Trey?
Yeah, I think he's a great goaltender. I gotta play with him at USA as well. He's a birth year below me, so he got called up to our team. That's kind of when I first met him, and yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. Like, he's very positionally sound. Seems like he's always cutting off angles. He's always solid in his net. And this weekend he played great, so it was great to see that. And obviously he's a true freshman, so even for goalies to be a starter, let alone a great starter, is really tough to do. And I think he's done a great job.
Yeah, you kind of read my mind. What I see when I watch him, I'm surprised. He looks very calm for a freshman in that position. He plays the position just calmly. He doesn't panic when there's chaos. He kind of stays where you're supposed to stay and what a goalie coach would, how they would tell you to play, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think if you watch him, he's extremely calm, and he knows where to be, and he's not gonna waste energy or extra shuffles. Like, it seems like he's just so smooth and so calm in there.
I know last year Jagger, we talked about it on the show. Maybe the number with the season changed a little bit, but like at the point we were talking, he had almost double the penalty minutes than anybody else on the team had. Like, is there a guy on your team that's kind of like the roughneck? I know it's not you. I think you've had like one penalty all year, but
yeah, I mean, probably Gucciardi, I would say. I don't know who's leading our team in penalty minutes.
There's no like huge. I looked at. There's no like guy way above everybody else. It's a lot of kind of bunched in.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like Gucciardi's gotten a couple penalties that I can remember, but no, I mean, there's not one that sticks out that's like getting 5-minute majors left and right. So
is that like do you need that? That's the debate with hockey guys is, do you need the grit and kind of the tough guy and the enforcer in the NHL level? It's a little different, obviously, because you guys aren't fighting.
Yeah.
Is that overstated? Is it more skill game? That stuff's more in the 90s. Like, what's your take on that?
I mean, for college, it's like, you can have a good physical presence, but, sometimes it's just like unnecessary if you have a guy that's just getting, 5-minute majors or hitting guys from behind. Like, that's not necessarily helping the team. That's just, kind of going in the box. But, I think it's good to have like, strong, hard physical players. If you want to build a national championship winning team, you're going to for sure have that.
Tell me about East Lansing a little bit. Not even in a hockey context, although it might apply. What do you make of that campus? I mean, I'm a fan, but what do you make of it?
Oh, the campus is great. First when I got here, I was going from like a one building campus at Duluth where kind of everything's connected to, getting dropped off here, and I'm looking at, 20 buildings the size of my old campus, which is kind of just like crazy to first see. And I'm not on campus too much, to be honest. I do a good amount of online classes, but it was beautiful in the summertime, and I'm sure when the spring happens, it'll be beautiful again.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Midwest guy, so you're not put off. I mean, you're a hockey player too,
yeah,
but yeah.
It's
like the weather question is always interesting. Like, I had Caden Hauser, Michigan State's quarterback. He's a California guy, and he's just like, this sucks here. Like, the weather. He loves the campus. He's like, this weather, man, it takes some getting used to. So hockey players, it's not a big deal.
No, I feel like this weather is better than what it is back home, so I'll take it.
Do you guys, when I know you're doing some stuff online too, like, do you guys hang out together outside? Like, is it a good team in terms of the presence? Is it more workmanlike outside of the arena? You don't hang out? Like, what's that like?
Yeah, we'll for sure hang out, especially like if we have downtime on a weekend or something, get together. In the summer, we were always golfing together. Kind of every day, to be honest. And then we're getting food together, every week and just meeting up, doing stuff like that.
I'm curious for the contrast, like with the culture there. And I know we talked about it some with Nightingale, but my friend Jack played for Red Berenson at Michigan, and he was revered there by the players, but also feared. He didn't, like Jack said, he didn't do anything that you would say, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. It was presence, and he would just glare, and people just knew. And he was a really intimidating presence, even if he didn't say much. Like the guys would say, oh my God, like don't let Red find out we're going to be in deep shit. Is there like a fear with Nightingale there, or is it a little more relaxed? What is that like in contrast to like what Red was, according to Jack anyway?
I mean, he's a great guy. I wouldn't say I fear him. Like, as a person, I can talk to him about, kind of anything. He's a great guy to, talk to. He's got good stories. I feel like he's always cooking pizza at the rink.
He's cooking pizza at the rink?
Yeah, the coach is like always, cooking up some pizza. They got
where's he doing that?
Pizza oven outside on the patio. So I feel like I've stopped by there a couple times, gotten some slice of pizza, and just BS about basically anything. So.
What time is that? Is that, I'll say, can I just go grab a slice of that pizza? What time is he doing that? I'm just going to swing by.
Yeah, I mean, it was the football Saturdays. They're always giving something away there if you stop by.
Yeah. You guys have stolen the spotlight, man. It's kind of crazy. And I was getting to the point of being harassed about not having a Michigan State hockey player on. And I was glad that you kind of stepped in and stepped up to the plate, honestly. It's been kind of wild because, the first couple of years we did this, I was not getting, no offense to Michigan State, I wasn't getting Michigan State hockey player requests. I've been getting bombarded. You guys are really taking off and have sort of taken the hearts of the school up there, and you've stolen. I mean, you guys are the top show in town in terms of buzz up there. Everyone's talking about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Obviously I'm new to kind of the city and the school, but I mean, that's awesome. I mean, we love all of our supporters, all the fans. We love the buzz. So I think it's awesome to be a part of it.
What's the value of a national championship to you, and what that would mean to you personally if you guys got there and won it?
I mean, it would be awesome. No other way to put it. I think it would be, best feeling of my career for sure. And, even just to bring it back to the school, bring it to East Lansing, like, the whole city, the whole community would rise up for that and love it. So I think it would be, super awesome thing. And, I think we definitely have a team that can do it. So it's just about, focusing on one weekend at a time and not getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, bias aside, you guys are my pick. I liked what I saw in both games against Wisconsin. You're obviously having an incredible season. You were the one team that has really stopped them so far. They had one road loss to current number 2 North Dakota, I think it was. Yep. So, that's what you guys did was so impressive, and that's been the case really throughout the year. You guys just play the game the right way. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's true. You guys you play hard, you back check, you skate hard, you find the open guy. It's kind of just classic textbook hockey. Yeah. That's my read on your style. How would you describe your style?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. It kind of starts, it started, I guess, all the way back in July 5th when we came out here. It was, always preached about, our conditioning, work ethic, like that needs to be the best in the country. And, we had a group that worked our balls off to get there. And now I feel like when we're playing the games, we're able to use that as to our advantage. Saturday night, second, third period, I think we have more legs than the opponent. And, playing the right way, like you said, back checking, in the offense zone, creating stuff. I thought we've done a really, really good job of that.
It's a fascinating team to watch. You guys just, like I said, play the right way. You're fun to watch. There's very little like, oh God, what is he thinking? With you guys, you're just really sound. And that's, we had a little bit of chaos before your coach got here and cleaned some things up. And it's just been such a relief to have him here, establish things last year and now take another step this year. It's a pleasure watching you play, man, personally, and you're having such a good year for a team that I think has a chance to really do great things. So to whatever it's, or for whatever it's worth, just thank you for helping revive Michigan State's hockey program, because it's been rough, man. Like, I'm a Michigan State hockey guy. I can't say anything to anybody for like 12 years. It was rough, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like before coming, obviously I was able to see kind of the past, and it's definitely exciting to turn a new chapter. And I think obviously what they did last season, kind of was big, and and now we're doing this season is awesome. So,
well, I know you are a legitimate pro prospect, but selfishly, I hope you stick around for, 3 years total at Michigan State, 2 more after this one. It'd be great to keep you as long as possible. And, thank you again for joining us. I know it's a long drive for you and you got a lot going on, and your coach does ride you hard enough that you have to be the top fitness team in the country and all that. So it's a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. That was Isaac Howard, man, leading scorer for a team that is just pumping people now and just took it to Wisconsin in back-to-back nights at Munn. Really fun team. Even people that are casual hockey fans are getting into the Michigan State hockey team. I think it's awesome. Like I said, my son, first game ever as a hockey game, was going crazy. So it's a team to watch, man. And this player's fun to watch, man. He's a dish man. He can finish. Like, I really enjoy his game. It's a fun team. I get behind him. It's been a pleasure, man. And we'll see you soon. Hopefully, I'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
Yep. Spiro Avenue Show, Justin Spiro. Ben, thank you. Eric, thank you. Love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.